There's a plant compound that's been used in traditional medicine for over 3,000 years. It activates the same cellular pathway as intense exercise. And right now, researchers are comparing it to metformin. The question isn't whether berberine does something. The question is what exactly it does, and whether that translates to real fat loss. Let's break it down. Your cells have a master energy switch called AMPK, adenosine monophosphate activated protein kinase. Think of it as your body's fuel gauge. When energy is low, during fasting, exercise, or caloric restriction, AMPK flips on. It signals cells to burn fuel instead of store it. It pushes glucose transporters to the cell surface so your muscles can pull sugar out of the bloodstream without waiting for insulin. It shuts down fat and cholesterol synthesis. It promotes fat oxidation. Berberine activates AMPK. That's the core mechanism, and it's well documented across multiple peer-reviewed studies and meta-analyses. Now here's where it gets interesting. Most supplements that claim to improve insulin sensitivity work through insulin itself. Berberine partially bypasses that. It can drive glucose uptake into muscle cells through a separate pathway, independently of the insulin receptor. This means it may still be effective in people whose insulin signaling is already blunted. That's not a minor footnote. That's the mechanism that makes it relevant to people with metabolic dysfunction, not just healthy individuals optimizing at the margins. Multiple systematic reviews and meta-analyses of randomized controlled trials show berberine consistently improves fasting blood glucose, insulin resistance scores, and blood lipids in people with metabolic disorders. Effects on body weight and BMI are also reported, but the data here is more modest and mixed, and studies have often been short, small, or conducted in populations already managing metabolic disease. In other words, the metabolic benefits are real. Dramatic fat loss in otherwise healthy people? The evidence doesn't clearly support that claim yet. Here's the surprising part that most coverage misses entirely. Berberine's oral bioavailability is extremely low, under 1% in many estimates. So how is it working at all? Researchers now believe a significant part of the answer lives in your gut. Berberine is metabolized by gut bacteria into more absorbable forms. It also reshapes the microbiome itself, reducing inflammatory bacterial strains, increasing short-chain fatty acid producers. This gut-mediated pathway is still being mapped out, but it may explain effects that bloodstream concentrations alone can't account for. What does practical use actually look like? Most clinical trials have used doses in the range of 900 to 1,500 milligrams per day, split across meals. Effects tend to become more pronounced beyond 3 months of consistent use. The most common side effects are gastrointestinal, nausea, cramping, loose stools, particularly early on. These often ease with time or by taking it with food. Who should be cautious? Anyone on blood sugar lowering medications, including metformin, should speak with a doctor before adding berberine. The combination can stack hypoglycemic effects. Pregnant and breastfeeding individuals should avoid it. It also interacts with certain CYP enzyme pathways, which can affect how other drugs are metabolized. The honest summary: berberine has a well-supported mechanism, solid evidence for improving insulin sensitivity and metabolic markers in people with dysfunction, and emerging data on gut-mediated effects that are genuinely interesting. The Nature's Ozempic headline is a stretch, but dismissing it entirely would be equally inaccurate. If you're metabolically healthy and eating well, this probably isn't a shortcut to leanness. If you're working to improve insulin sensitivity as part of a broader lifestyle strategy, the evidence is worth taking seriously. Like and subscribe if you want more content that actually reads the research.